This is the story of the Dixie Mafia. Not a family, not a code, just one rule: don't snitch. Born in the back rooms of Biloxi, raised on the red clay of Georgia, and buried somewhere between an Alabama preacher's porch and a Mississippi sheriff's pocket. Down here, justice ain't blind, she's just busy counting her cut. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head to the Delta. It started in the 1960s, where the Gulf Coast shimmered with sin. Biloxi, Mississippi, once a sleepy shrimp town, became a neon-lit playground for gamblers, grifters, and ghosts. The Strip was their kingdom. Motels, nightclubs, backroom poker joints. No hierarchy, no blood oaths. Just a loose confederation of Southern outlaws who knew how to make money and how to make people disappear. Mike Gillich Jr. ran the show, not with muscle, but with charm. He was the concierge of crime, the man who knew who to call when you needed a favor or a body buried. Gillich was the unofficial kingpin of the Dixie Mafia. Of Croatian descent and raised in a working-class Point Cadet neighborhood, he rose to prominence by owning a string of motels and strip clubs along Biloxi's infamous Strip. All of them doubled as hubs for illegal gambling and organized crime. He was deeply trusted within the Syndicate, often described as the criminal's post office for his role in coordinating operations. His notoriety peaked with his involvement in the 1987 contract killings of Judge Vincent Sherry and his wife Margaret, a case that exposed the Dixie Mafia's reach into local politics and law enforcement. Though he initially denied involvement, Gillich later turned government witness, implicating several high-profile figures and revealing chilling details, like buying bullets at a Kmart. I remember the case fairly well. I was a sophomore in college at the time and was attending a school on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Gillich died in 2012 at the age of 82, having served only 9 years of a 20-year sentence. Unlike the Italian Mafia, the Dixie Mafia didn't care about family. They cared about profit. Their only commandment: thou shalt not snitch to the cops. And if you did, well, let's just say the kudzu would grow thick over your grave. They weren't just thugs. They were businessmen with blood on their ledgers. They ran drugs through the Delta, skimmed cash from casinos, and turned Southern hospitality into a racket. In Harrison County, Mississippi, the sheriff's office was so compromised, the FBI labeled it a criminal enterprise. Judges took bribes, deputies ran protection, and justice was just another hustle. Under Sheriff Leroy Hobbs, deputies loyal to him were implicated in releasing prisoners for cash, safeguarding drug shipments, and harboring fugitives. As the Dixie Mafia continued operating with impunity across Biloxi and the entire Gulf Coast, the FBI launched a sweeping investigation in 1983, uncovering layers of collusion between law enforcement and organized crime, culminating in Hobbs' conviction for racketeering and a 20-year prison sentence. The case exposed not only the depth of local corruption, but also the vulnerability of small-town institutions to criminal infiltration. Billy Sunday Burt, Georgia's own hitman, wasn't just feared, he was storied. His son still tells tales of shotgun justice and moonshine diplomacy. Burt didn't wear a suit. He wore denim and a grin. He didn't need a consigliere. He had a pickup truck and a list of names. These men became archetypes: the charming killer, the crooked sheriff, the preacher with a pistol in his Bible. They weren't just criminals. They were characters in a Southern Gothic novel. Part Robin Hood and part Jack the Ripper, Burt was the feared enforcer of Georgia's Dixie Mafia throughout the 1960s and 70s. A moonshiner turned contract killer whose reputation for brutality earned him the title the deadliest man in Georgia history. Known for robbing more banks than Dillinger and committing more murders than Jesse James, Burt operated with ruthless efficiency, often driving a souped-up Mercury Cyclone that could outrun any lawman. He was convicted of multiple murders, including the grisly 1973 torture and killing of an elderly couple in Rens, Georgia. Though he died in prison in 2017, his legacy lives on in Southern folklore as a symbol of outlaw justice and the dark underbelly of the Dixie Mafia. The Dixie Mafia's reach stretched far beyond Biloxi, into the hills of Tennessee, the swamps of Louisiana, the strip clubs of Dallas, and even the barbecue joints of Birmingham. They didn't need a national syndicate. The South was their canvas, and corruption, their brush. They rubbed shoulders with the Black Hand's legacy of fear, borrowed tactics from the Chicago outfit, and danced with the ghosts of the Italian Five Families, but they never played by anyone's rules but their own. And years before Biloxi became the Vegas of the South, Phoenix City, Alabama earned the notorious nickname the wickedest city in America, thanks to the Dixie Mafia's deep entrenchment in its political and criminal underworld. Clubs like the Bama, Silver Slipper, and Blue Goose served as hubs for vice, while figures like Hoyt Shepard orchestrated racketeering and even murder to maintain control. Now, the tipping point came in 1954 with the assassination of reformed politician and state attorney general-elect Albert Patterson, prompting the governor to declare martial law, sending in the National Guard to dismantle the criminal networks that had infiltrated local government. Today, the Dixie Mafia is more myth than machine, but their stories still echo throughout the South. In Mobile, folks still speculate about a newspaper editor assassinated on Government Street. In Winder, Georgia, they talk about the man who buried secrets underneath his barn. How many games ended in defeat in order to satisfy the gambling debt of a New Orleans Saints quarterback? If you find yourself on the back roads of Eufaula or Pascagoula, you can still hear the roar of a bootlegger's V8 screaming through the night. And in Biloxi, the strip is gone, but the ghosts still gamble. They still live on in ballads, in barroom tales, in the way Southerners say, I know a guy. They're part of the Southern psyche now, like Spanish moss on a live oak, beautiful but suffocating. The Dixie Mafia didn't leave behind a code, they left behind a feeling, a sense that power doesn't wear a badge, it wears a smile, that justice might ride in a patrol car, or in a hearse. They're the reason Southern crime stories feel different, more personal, more poetic, both terrifying and romantic. Because down here, the devil doesn't wear Prada. He wears Justin boots and drinks Tennessee whiskey and knows your mama's maiden name. So next time you drive through a forgotten town with a courthouse and a casino, look twice at the man sweeping the steps. He might just be sweeping history under the rug. The Dixie Mafia. No family, no code, just a rule. Don't snitch.
Hey look, I don't know how much time the mailman's coming. Just click like and subscribe.